is your homie T-Rod with yet another Dragon Ball Super card game video, and today we're gonna find out what the strongest deck is going to be in Dragon Ball Super card game. Well, Nationals is literally around the corner, guys, and with Nationals around the corner, there's gonna be a new strongest deck taking first place. And right here, I'm in DBS Decks. Huge shout out to them for providing this, which is the metagame tab right here, and I'm gonna do an highly educated guess, a good educated guess, and predict what the first place winning deck of all time in Dragon Ball Super card game is gonna be in 2019. So first of all, obviously, it's not just the deck, it's the person running the deck and the pilot of the deck that makes the deck shine. So depending on whoever is running the deck, obviously that is gonna be a huge factor into what decks actually gonna get first place. So let's look into this tab right here. We have multiple different decks, and the beautiful part about this, DBS Decks does on top of that also give you the percentage of, you know, how meta it is, otherwise known how often it's actually topped a big event. So the first one up here is Toa with the highest percentage of 13.70%. And let's look at this Toa control deck. And obviously it runs Toa the leader, which is an amazing leader that searches you out Miras and Fools, and then Awaken, he gives critical to a Mira on the field. And on top of that, it also removes one keyword skill that you're, from your opponent, meaning you can survive one detrimental attack. And look how many times this thing's topped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different times this deck has topped. So let's just click on one that, topped recently, and it happens to be this Toa. It's only running at around $189 for being the most meta deck in, the list. And let's look at, get a visual view of the deck. So obviously it has your standard Vegeta time regulators, which are so useful to, allow you to overwhelm and draw. And then obviously the Mira itself that union absorbs the Toas, which you have in the deck, and then that allows you to bring out the Mira that forces your opponent to warp cards out of their hand. And not only that, he's a double strike, and he gains 5k power for each card in the warp, meaning you could go in with a big double strike attack, and then obviously our leader gives it crit, so it's a double strike crit. And that's how you play this deck. You hand control them, pressure, aggro. It's insane. So this is gonna be the deck that's most prevalent. If you go to Nationals, you're definitely gonna see this deck. So already have a game plan how to go against this deck. So is it gonna take first place? Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be taking first place. This deck has been played so often that people just know how to counter it. So I definitely do not think Toa is gonna be taking first place. So let's go back and look at another deck that might take first place, and it happens to be U6 Kaba. So this is the expert deck leader, and the reason I think it has a higher potential of making it to the top is because this deck, with the correct pilot, is an insanely powerful deck, guys. If you know how to maneuver the deck, this deck is considered an expert deck for a reason. It takes an expert to know how to maneuver it depending on your matchups. So this guy's topped multiple times as well. So let's look at a deck real quick. And the last deck was only 180. This is 195, like slightly more expensive, but it's still very, 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 very powerful. So let's get a visual view of this. So obviously you got to run the secret rare in this one. The secret rare steals games, believe it or not. It's a triple strike, taps your opponent's energy, draws you an insane amount of cards. And then you got Champa, for the counter plays, and then obviously your Khalifas and your kills to combo, and then play these big 20k beaters that the kill is obviously a crit, and then the Khalifa rests one and is a double strike as well. This is an insanely powerful deck. Super aggro, your leader gives them all 5k and self awakens. Like I said, this deck requires a huge amount of expertise to actually maneuver it right. Anybody can play the deck, but it takes a true artist to actually win with this deck in all the matchups. So I think Kaba might be making it up there. At the end of the video, I'm gonna let you know which is gonna be the one that I think, and I want you guys to hit it up in the comment section below telling me what you think is gonna be the first place best deck of 2019. So Kaba, it's slightly higher in my book over Total Control. So now let's look at Tricolor Janemba. So Janemba, what does he do? He destroys the deck. He's a deck destroyer. Every time he attacks, your opponent drops 2 cards from their deck, and when your opponent has no more cards in their deck to draw, they automatically lose. So because of that, Janemba is a very, very powerful leader. It's a safe leader to go with, but you know, with safe, you're most likely not guaranteed first place. And this is the Tricolor Janemba. There's multiple different Janembas. The reason this is a Tricolor Janemba is because it has red, blue, yellow, black in there. So the way this deck works is, look, it's only running around $76. It's pretty cheap for being a meta deck, right? So this deck runs all the other colors, dual color cards in here, and this deck is pretty much tricolor because you run all the different types of counter plays. You got the Vegeta counter play that KOs anything your opponent plays. You got the Choppa counter plays that rests anything your opponent plays. You got this extra card Frost that pretty much rests anything your opponent plays and negates. And then you got, you know, blockers. You got Senzu Beans. You got hella negates. You got the negates. You got counter plays. You got negates from the drop. You got more negates. You got super combos. So this deck is honestly a completely just stop your opponent from doing anything and just hopefully mill them out with your leader. And I do not think this is going to be a winning deck, guys. Not this one, at least. Not this Janemba build. It's too linear. It's too simple that people already know. The reason I feel this deck won the first time is because nobody expected it. Now everybody's expecting it, and now people are citing in, you know, those counter cards. So this, I don't think is gonna take it, guys. Not Janemba for sure. It's still gonna do good. I think it might top, but I don't think it's gonna be the first place winning deck. So now Gogeta Shenron. All right. So this, as you guys can see, it's actually topped quite a bit. So now let's look at this deck profile right here. It's running around $117. Not too expensive, not the cheapest, but it's looking like it has mostly black, a little bit of green, blue, and red. So let's look at the deck. So this is Shenron. If you guys don't know, it runs the Dragon Balls. That's why you have all the Dragon Balls. You got the Super Dragon Balls, the 1-star Dragon Balls. So you pretty much find all your Dragon Balls, try to ramp up with objection, get as many energy as possible. Then once you have the energy, you know, you obviously want to play out your, where's he at? Your Porunga to draw you more cards, or your Shenron to give the big ol' almighty play Gogeta, and bring them back with world peace when you ramp up enough energy. And then obviously you got Gogeta, Kaioken over here to seal the deal. You ramp up all your energies, your world peace, you bring out either Gogeta or Kaioken, and then you pretty much obliterate your opponent by either using Kaioken and taking your life away, destroying their hand, or playing Gogeta, playing him, and then taking one of your life away and destroying your opponent's hand, and then giving this guy triple attack, and he's already a triple strike. And then obviously you got your Shenron to give him crit, so it's a triple attack, triple strike, crit. And this is a very powerful deck. And then you got, you know, the Fu in there to, you know, if all else fails, bring out the Fu, and then, you know, solidify the game with that. That just negates everything your opponent tries to do. So this deck for sure is powerful. I don't think it's gonna be first place. I honestly don't think Shenron is a good leader, but I don't know about it being first place. There's going to be a lot of people out there siding against this, and I think, you know, Shenron is just, I don't think he's going to take it. I don't think he's going to take it. He's a powerful leader, but I don't think he's going to take it. And then Porunga Reanimator, it's pretty much running the same thing as Shenron. It hasn't topped as often as Shenron, but it's still very powerful. So let's look at this one. This one's an expensive deck. 321 deck, but because it does run Victory Strike Goku, which is the most expensive card in Dragon Ball Super card game, which is this card right here. And this deck runs relatively the same as the Shenron. You ramp up your energy, get as many energy as possible, play your World Peace, and bring out either the Gogeta, the Victory Strike, or the Kaioken. And then you obliterate your opponent by using Purunga's ability to not only bring out, any of these big dudes, you could also bring out something with World Peace and then solidify it with Purunga. And this deck is slightly powerful, but I think Shenron takes the cake. And then obviously, guys, there's way more, so I'm just gonna go with the last one that I think might be taking it, and it happens to be this Broly. This Broly, guys, no joke, I think is gonna be one of the best leaders. So let's look at it. So this is an expensive deck, 249, and doesn't even run Victory Strike. So let's look at what this deck does. So Broly, he allows you to self-awaken when he attacks. Draw a card, pick up a life, and then awakened, he does so much. He draws you a card, you can pick up a life, restand any card on the field, and on top of that, switches anything to rest mode. For that reason, he is running, the secret rare. Switch that one card to rest mode, allowing you to bring out this, secret rare Vegito, which is a triple strike, insane amount of plussing when he comes out, and usually solidifies the game, because then you can pick up a life, restand them, and then solidify the game. So this is a veggies variant, as you guys can see. It's running Khalifa, it's running, the veggies, Kale, Champa and Vados, and then, Mira, which is a finisher. Then you could just strike a life, restand them, and go in for another big attack. And Fu, this is just a very powerful deck all around. And I think this might be one of the best leaders. If anything, I think this leader might be the winner. So now looking at all the other decks, obviously there's other meta decks like Vanilla Kid Goku, Pan, Dende, Frieza Prison, Haruta Guard, Gogeta BR. But obviously they haven't taken Height of Mastery Broly. They haven't really taken into account the new cards. So obviously, I think the winner deck is gonna have to be the leader Broly, but it's gonna be Broly with a variant, with some of the new draft cards, or it might be some rogue deck. But if I were to put all my money on that one leader, it's gonna have to be Broly. It's gonna have to be Broly, and it could be red, yellow Broly, blue, yellow Broly, but it's gonna be Broly of some kind. And that's what I'm speculating. Just because I've seen all the decks out there, I've played against all the decks, and I think Broly's gonna take the cake, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What leader do you think is gonna take it? But I think Broly's gonna take it, just because I've seen this deck and it's so consistently powerful. Many variants with it. I don't know which one exactly, but I know this guy is gonna be the winner. So let me know what you think, and like we always say, y'all stay super.